And there we are. Welcome, Rev Wayne Stills. We're here for our wonderful doing the
Personal life.
impersonal life. I'm just checking to make sure everything is okay. There we go. Uh, there we go. And how are you doing today, Wayne?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I
Yeah.
look rumpled because I'm trying to still stay warm. It's still cold
Uh,
here,
oh
so
yeah. It's pretty
but
cold here too. It hasn't been so bad here, relatively speaking. It's been colder before, but the key is how windy it is. If it's not so windy, it's not so bad.
yep, that's why they call it the Windy City.
That's
So
right. That's right. Although I actually hear it has something to do with the politics, actually, politicians.
I know, but
Yeah,
I
but
like to say that.
works either way. Works either way.
Yeah, I've been downtown Chicago when it's been windy and it's cold as hell.
I know. I know.
Or the wind coming off of the lake.
The lake. Yeah,
Yeah, the lake, boy, that can cause some weather. So,
yeah.
all right. So
All
what?
right, I want yeah. I was just saying hello to everyone. This is Miracles Everywhere, and we're reading the Impersonal Life, Joseph Benner, channeled the Impersonal Life back in the early 1900s, and I would say it's the voice of Christ, and he makes it very clear. Last time we read this, that's exactly what it was. And he went through the symbolism of Christ also, and how it plays out in our own lives. I thought that was pretty interesting. So we'll get to that also. And I just wanted to briefly read two parts of the lesson today. It's a long lesson. I didn't want to get into that to all completely today because it's I want to get to the personal life. But I thought this was just a the separated ones have invented many cures, so-called cures, for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But the one thing they don't do is question the reality of the problem. And so over deep within you is everything that's perfect, ready to radiate through. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of allegiance to them. That's what you were saying. We have allegiance to the world. We have allegiance to what's going on around us. And all we really have to do is let go of that allegiance and recognize and become lucid. And recognize, which is to say, let go of recognition of valuing and let go of the decision that we made that this is real and make a different decision. This is not real. And all it takes is a different choice. And then the choice is this is not. And for instance, you get a diagnosis. Fine. Diagnosis is not in keeping with an omnipresent, omnipotent God. The higher self, we'll just call it God. My higher self is your higher self, is all of our higher selves. We'll call it God. It's perfect. God is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. This omnipresence, this omnipotence, this omniscience cannot in any way be sick. And since we know this, we can challenge that report. We can challenge those that diagnosis. I'm not saying you shouldn't see your doctors and take medicine. What I'm simply saying is you can challenge it. And now that you know for sure it's not real, you put it in the lie pile, put it in the hoax pile, put it in the no pile, not true pile. And you start divvying up what's real, not real, and clarity kicks in. That's all the difference. That making sense? All right.
There, sorry, I had my mute my mic.
Oh,
So yeah, absolutely. And that's you and I both are probably looking at our lives and I know I look at the things that have happened to me during this life in this world, all the different things. I can't. I have to attribute um, to God so much of the things that have occurred because it doesn't even make sense if you it doesn't make sense. Here, I'll put my camera back on. That all these like coincidental things have happened to me that have turned into some other thing, some other thing, some other thing. And of course I wouldn't even be here I don't think, and as much as I know you, and you've talked about your whole life having been the search for God, the search for your connection with the divine, and I know that's been a big part of your mode of operation for your whole lifetime. Um, and yet, I wonder how far you would have come along this road had you not developed Parkinson's disease, and you
I'm
would
not
have
sure.
been able to go ahead and have like the life that you dreamed of, the thoughts the life that you dreamed of, you know, would that have hindered you? Would having
I'm not sure. I mean, it's hard to say. What I would say to that is two things. One is I'm not sure it matters because life turned out the way it turned out. And another thing I can say to that is I had an interest while I was at it. This interest didn't start when I got sick. It didn't start when I got diagnosed. The interest was there
right, that's what I'm saying. You
before
were
the
already there,
yeah. So I was
but
now it wasn't my primary actions of the day. I was doing both. I was I didn't start this actually until I got sick. But spirituality and religion was always there.
right,
This I started with that was always there, and as well as the arts. I was always into spirituality and the arts. Spirituality and the arts. But I had building a relationship with people was very important to me through the arts. I liked that very much, be on stage and the audience, and it was very part of my thrills of getting what I wanted to be and do. And I don't think that necessarily would have taken away. It might have been just been better for me. I have no idea. But still, it's hard to know. So I'm talking from a dreaming point of view,
right,
from a oh that would have been nice point of view. When you're in it, you think differently. I could very well say, "Gee, I wonder what would happen if I stayed at home and had a simple life.
right.
If I made it big and won an Oscar, I can see myself sitting around one day and saying, "Gee, what would happen if I didn't try to become an actor? If I had
Right.
done this." So who knows?
Who
It's so
knows?
hard to know what would have happened if I didn't get Parkinson's.
That's true.
The only thing I can say is that if I had the choice, I wouldn't ask for
Right. Right. And I agree with
it.
that completely. And maybe because my situation it wasn't, didn't have a permanent effect other than, I mean, when I have had like when I had my accident, the first one where I told my, car broke my knee, I was basically lost my vision in my eye. Basically, had to quit working. I couldn't work anymore.
Right.
And because I couldn't work anymore, I was already involved in doing this gather. And
Right.
so that just put me in a position where I was at home with a
Mhm.
computer.
Right.
And I couldn't work. So that put me in a position. I can definitely, as much as I loved God and was, focused on spirituality and focused on, my awakening. I can tell you that it is like 100 times more that I've had because I've had the opportunity to focus on this rather than focusing on doing, weekly, monthly reports, going out in the field and working with the guys. I mean, I was so busy doing all that other stuff that I really didn't
Right.
have the opportunity or the time to totally focus on my spiritual life. Now, whether it would have been better for me one way or the other, I don't know. But I look back now and say, thank God that happened to me,
Right.
as bad as it may have seemed at the time, and that I lost, this fabulous career where I was making, lots of money and and
Right.
position, and then I got, where I wasn't making lots of money and all that business, but I would rather have this than that. As much as I loved that, I still would rather have this. So to me, it, thank God that I had the accident.
And
Thank
after
God.
all, when it
Yeah.
comes down to it, God knows what he's doing.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
God knows what he's doing. Since Johnny Carson was saying he was died in an accident or something, and he said life knows what it's doing. So he has that faith in life. What can you do? I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I didn't ask for this.
Right.
Yeah, so
But you did ask for it.
I mean,
That's
I
the
didn't,
thing.
but I didn't ask for it consciously. I didn't walk around saying
Right.
I had like some Parkinson's disease today before o'clock.
No,
Yes, but
no.
so I mean, things happen to people, and
Yeah.
then it's how you respond to it.
Right.
And
And you recognize that, you
yeah,
know, it's part of your plan.
exactly, exactly. And
Yeah.
my key is that if I can use it to overcome and help me, and it's not about becoming an example. Truth of the matter is for me, it's about not really caring and experiencing anything that comes my way, because my job is to use it as a motivation to get to know this, to get to know Christ, to get to know the Spirit.
Right.
Keep my eyes on Christ. We just were talking about that. Keep your eyes on the truth of Christ. What's the truth? That everything's just fine. Everything's perfect. Perfect. The perfect is within.
That's right. That's right.
The perfect is the center of our being. And so it doesn't really matter what happens, so long as you get to know Jesus within it, the Spirit within, the God within. And if you get to know that God within, who cares? I don't need to be healthy. I don't need to be unhealthy because it's the same thing. I
Right.
don't need to be healthy or unhealthy. I can be big or tall. It's the same thing. It's all the same
Yeah.
because it's all everything equals everything else. It doesn't make a difference because I mean God's taking care of everything anyhow. And so I can just kind of sit back and just say, all right,
Yeah.
my job. We're here to know Him. That's why we're here. And so everything becomes a means to know to know truth, to know the reality of things behind it all.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
And
that's how, and I've learned that power is the ability to experience anything,
yeah.
whatever comes your way. And
Yeah.
that doesn't mean I'm not open to anything out in the arts. Anyhow, I mean, I've set up. I'm taking a storytelling workshop starting in March, so I can because this Parkinson's thing is progressive. It gets worse and worse over time. So I have to get ahead of it.
Right. Right.
Otherwise, my speaking gets worse. It's not as if I can get speaking a certain way, then okay, now I can stay here. I have to constantly move ahead of it. So, so that's storytelling. I take storytelling, and now and then I go back to the storytelling workshop, and I start talking again in front of people.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really awesome.
I have stories though. I have
Yeah.
stories I want to tell. So we'll
And you
see.
never know, there could be something because, you're making me think, of course, and I know that we've mentioned this before and, maybe things have changed a little bit, but the whole business with the speakeasy, Maureen Muldoon and her group, and they have like they
I
the
think
storytelling and that kind of
I,
stuff.
I think we're getting there a lot. The thing about it is that it's just far enough where I can't. I have to. It's far, the driving there is a half hour, 45-minute trip.
Yeah. Well, they're all online now.
Oh, they are. Oh, that's right. That's right. So how do I do that? Do I go through Paltalk?
Just look up speakeasy. Let me speak.
But can I go through your? Can we do? It used to be you can go through Paltalk and do it, right? I mean,
Right, but they
through
don't do that anymore. Everything they're doing now is on Zoom.
Zoom. But can I come through here, or I have to go through their thing?
No, you have to go to their, and I've been wanting to put that stuff on my website, because yeah, she has a lot of stuff going on, and uh, you might, and
Uh,
because she is in the Chicago area and does do like workshops and stuff, some, not that much because everything they're doing is online. So,
oh, cool. That's
but
good. Yeah, 'cause she lives in Hinsdale. She's in Hinsdale, which is about a half hour, 45 minutes from me. If I live in Hinsdale, it's an exact replica. Literally, it's a replica of where I used to live in Bronxville. To be
really,
I mean, same restaurants, same blocks, same streets. It looks the same. It
wow.
was as if somebody who moved down to Bronxville was the same decorator or something. Because it was
That's
really
really
wild.
weird.
Yeah,
That's really weird.
it was really odd. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So yeah, but I think she would really welcome you, and I think you'd be, I think you might enjoy their community
Yeah,
because
I was briefly on the phone with them, briefly on the phone with them
yeah,
for
so they're
365.
mostly, it's a very female dominated group, because I
I have
guess
some.
Maureen, Uh,
I,
but
I
uh,
live, I live in a female
but
dominated.
Speak Easy Spiritual Community is the name of them, and I think you'd be like I said, I think you guys would get along real well. And then she does do a like every so once in a while they have like where you can go up and they have like a actual auditorium thing they set up, and for people to go and tell their stories or do other things. So she's got stuff going on. Anyways, I don't know why I thought of her just now. And but yeah,
You
get
we were talking about something. I forget which was.
check her
Yeah,
out.
well, I'll check her out.
Put her on put her on share here so people can see. Speakeasy Spiritual Community. Why is this doing this to me? I'm telling you. All right, yeah. Hopefully you can see that. I'm not sure.
I mean, I see nothing since Johnson has started sharing screen.
What is going on with this screen share? I just
There you
don't.
go. There. Now I see it. Now I see it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Speakeasy Spiritual Community, and so she's got a lot of activities that are going
Yes,
on.
yeah, that's what I did the 365 thing for a while. A little while.
Yeah,
For a little while.
yeah. I do that on Saturday mornings, anyways. So
I did.
uh,
Yeah.
I run the
Oh,
lesson
you run it. You run it. Oh, that's cool.
just on Saturday mornings. I
What
do.
time? What time is it Saturday morning?
It's at 8:20 your time,
Oh,
7:20 my time, 8:20 your time.
holy shit. That's
Yeah,
early.
it's early in the morning. I
I'll look at
know.
that.
That's what I say too. Hey, it's 7:30 in the morning. Anyway,
All right.
so I'm playing my part for
Maybe we should read a little bit. What do you think?
you should read a little bit. Yeah. So
Uh,
so here we are. Do you want to read? I think we start here with I hear tell you plainly. Do you want me to read or you want to read?
yeah, no, you read. Why don't you read?
Okay. All right. I here tell you plainly that and I'm going to turn off my camera so that I don't
Well,
mess up my wavelength here, my bandwidth. uh, I here tell you plainly that my impersonal love has not to do with personal lives and personal loves. All such are but the outer mediums I use through which to pour out the heart of humanity into the world. My real love, where it is ever expressing its all embracing, vitalizing, creative, and uplifting power. My love considers not individuals or personalities. They are but pawns on the chessboard of life, which I move as I deem best to accomplish my purpose, the full
mhm.
and complete expression in humanity of my divine idea. So these things that we were just talking about, my accident, your Parkinson's disease, blah, 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 this is all part of the plan
Yep,
that we're being moved around like on a chessboard. And for those who I didn't mention this too, we're reading The Impersonal Life by Joseph Benner. And this was channeled back in the 1920s. It's like over 100 years old or about 100 years old. But it is just as current. I mean, it's happening right now today. So
sure.
so yeah, so my love considers not individuals or personalities. They are but pawns on the chessboard of life, which I move as I deem best to accomplish my purpose.
Well, he's playing
What
both
is
sides.
my purpose? The full and complete expression in humanity of my divine idea.
He plays both sides of the board too,
Yeah, yeah.
of the chessboard.
There's no surprises.
No, no
Yeah,
surprises.
yeah,
No surprises. Totally. I guess for lack of a better way of saying it, it's just predestination. It's just what he's saying.
yeah. It's
Everything,
impersonal.
impersonal predestined, and everything that we go through is, which basically means that we can, once you realize that everything is predestined, predetermined, have as much fun as you want.
Right. And recognize too that you had something, you said yes to this.
Yeah, yeah. And then you said yes to this, but that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
That's part of the predestination. You forget about the idea that you ever had a choice, because the you that you're talking about is the pawn in the chess game, and
yep,
the pawn in the chess game has always been a pawn, and never was anything else but a pawn.
that's right.
Because eventually the pawn would disappear, and the king and a queen, and have the end of it.
Right. Now, checkers, you could become the king in checkers.
Yes, yeah, exactly. But that's the point. So you figure we're all these pawns, and eventually, we're pawns that they're they eventually die
Yeah,
off. They eventually die off. So the full and complete this is there. The individual person. They are pawns on a chessboard of life, which I move as I deem. So the pawns can do whatever they want. They're being moved. They're certainly from their perspective. They're like that ball that someone throws in the air, and the ball thinks it's moving on its own.
hey, yeah. Look at me, I'm flying.
Exactly. And it's wow, but all the energy that it has it's totally dependent upon completely on the energy that was the thrower gave it.
That's right.
But somehow it's sitting there saying, but then the energy that it thinks it's using to think that it's alive is the energy of the thrower too.
That's right. That's
So
right.
so the whole thing is very paradoxical, but it's a
It's
trick that's playing on itself.
one thing moving the entire time, one complete movement. And when the pitcher hits the ball, that's the same thing. And if the ball hits the pitcher, take your base.
Exactly. Take your base. Take your base. He wants to write that book. I guess
I
that.
mean the
Uh,
Batman, not the pitcher, but
that's right. I gotta write that. I gotta write that.
that's
Take your
it.
base. In chapter one, why drive when you can be driven?
That's right.
This is chapter one, and I gotta, I gotta write that out. I gotta write that out.
Yeah.
Okay, so, uh,
Okay.
and
So
you're
in
right.
humanity, okay. In humanity only can I express my idea. So the God's idea, the source's idea, is to express through us. And so it can't express through anything else because it's already made the plan to express through us.
It's almost like some evolution. If you think in terms of evolution, evolution kind of happens, but the individuals are not really important to the whole. They're on the peripheral.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you have an evolution, and every choice that you make seems so small, and but because collectively, the Son of God is making one choice, is making choices that they it's the collective Son of God that's making the choices as one being. But the separated beings aren't even here to begin with. And each separated being is making its own choice, is not really making any choice at all, anyhow. There's no power in the choice that we're making.
Right.
There's no law behind it.
Yeah.
you
And, and
know,
and if you're just that being that's there, you just, enjoy the ride for God's sake.
Exactly. There's no law behind us, anything we're doing anyhow. There's
Right.
no, the only law that there is the collective choices being made that moves the whole, but by God, that moves the whole Son of God forward,
That's right.
that moves humanity forward, moves mankind forward. And the individual choices that you make that maybe God looks at to move them to put into the big Son of God pile that moves mankind forward. You have no say on that at all.
Right.
He made the argument that the essence doesn't even see you. He just makes the choice based on what it sees. All those big power choices, the Father. And so all you have to do is just make choices, any choice you want, and the Father assimilates it, and you move you towards the right plan, move towards your destiny. It's very
Right.
interesting. Yeah.
And you can, yeah, you can agree with it and you'll enjoy it, and you can disagree with it and you'll have a terrible time.
Yeah, but either way, it's going to be assimilated towards it's like
Right.
the GPS at the center of the universe, and so it's going to move you towards where you have to go.
That's
And
right.
if you want to get lost, you can get lost, but then it's harder to get back. That's all.
That's right.
You
And
know,
and none of it's good and none of it's bad. That's why it's impersonal.
it's
It's
impersonal.
nothing, it's not personal. That's
Exactly. And yes, if you want to throw punches and you want to get angry, then you get lost, and the GPS will get you back, but it'll just be a harder trip,
that's right.
the rougher neighborhood. It's up to you. Or you can just enjoy the trip completely, and you're in a nicer neighborhood, and you have more fun, and your friends are more supportive, and everything better.
That's right.
You know,
Just
I was thinking, the body can do whatever it wants to do if it's under the spirit's direction. And that's the key.
Absolutely.
Let your body make choices. In a sense, focus on the body and let it make its own choices. Make sure that as long as it's under the auspices of the spirit, which is to say, if you know what's real and not real, and you can say that's real, that's not real, that's real, that's not real, that's real, and you clarify for yourself the difference between dreams and reality, then you can do whatever you want to do
Yep.
because you know the difference between love and what's love and what's not love. And then everything is love, obviously, but you don't see it that way. So you see the difference between reality and your perceptions. And then once you see that, then you play with your perceptions. Have fun with your perceptions. Because now you know what's real, what's not real.
You can just, you're walking in a dream,
We do it anyhow. I mean, I look around you, everything's a
right?
perception. Everything's a perception. And so we're building an addition onto my house right now. So what do you think we're
I heard
doing?
that.
That's a perception. And we're building in my perception, and we're building in our perception right now. We're building something. Now, that's enjoying my perception by building something in my perception. I'm enjoying it. What else is that but an enjoyable expression of my perception of a house, of shelter? Make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
I mean,
It does
what
make
is
sense.
shelter? What is traveling? If you want to go, what is traveling? What is a car but an expression of traveling, of freedom in the dream? It's what in our perception of what it is.
Right. But you're in a car, you're just sitting there.
Yeah, yeah, but that's the point. But you as a being are enjoying the dream, are enjoying your perceptions by manifesting a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're doing this all the time. Everything we do here is a manifestation of our enjoyment of this place, of this dream. But we forget that we put everything out there, and then we take advantage of everything. We take for everything for granted, and we forget that we've done it already. And then we say, "Ah, I got nothing. It's all happening to me." And we forget that we're the ones who put this all out there. And the world wasn't dropped on our lap from the sky. We
Yep.
made everything. We're actually having a great time right now.
That's right. We are having a great time right now. And
That's the crazy.
I feel it. I'm having a great time, so
Yeah.
I'm a happy person.
And it's just so much it's easy for us to say because we're not starving in the streets, but you know, what do you say to that? This is true. It's always easier for some people to say certain things, but hopefully they say it.
Yeah. And but if you were, many people who have everything uh fall into despair and kill themselves.
Exactly, exactly.
And people who have nothing are sitting smiling at,
Happy as can be, happy as can be,
happy. Yeah, yeah.
happy as can
We
be.
call them fools or whatever, but in
Yeah,
reality, they're just,
fool.
sitting there on the hill watching the sun going down, seeing the world spinning around.
Any spiritual leader, any guru, any that can help you is get on a plane. You have your personal baggage and you have the baggage that you check. The less baggage you have on the plane, the more comfortable the ride. Anyone that can take all the baggage out of your personal and put it in the check, that's the road you want to be in.
Man, that's what I do.
Yeah, so anytime you get rid of, I don't want anything on the plane. I want all of it checked.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, if you anyone that takes the burden off you like that, go with that religion, go with that spirituality. This the course does. It just takes the pressure off.
yeah, yeah,
It's just similar to this right here. It takes the pressure off.
yeah,
What was there to worry about if God's in complete command? If
exactly.
God's writing the story from scratch,
You got that
and
curbside check-in.
yeah, exactly, exactly,
They take your stuff, you don't see it again till you get off the other end.
exactly, and then never loses your luggage. It's
Never loses
Ash.
your luggage.
Never loses your luggage. And a little gift in there too if you look. We'll see.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Mm.
So let me tell you how much God is enjoying us. He
Oh,
says,
yeah.
in humanity, I live and move and have my being. It is the mortal personality and body of my immortal self even as your personality and its body is what you use to express your being.
That's
So
what we're just
he's
saying.
enjoying himself through with us. He's
Yeah,
expressing himself through us. We are the vessels of his love. And
yeah, and he compares it to how our body is the vessel of our love,
yes,
which is his love.
yes,
So essentially, our bodies are the vessels of his love.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
because it's all connected.
it's all connected. And that's what I was telling Susan before when we were talking to because she was talking about, she gave a bunch of money away to the church because she had read that, some self-help thing said, give it away and you'll receive it back in, tenfold or something. So she did. She went to the bank and got all her money and she gave it to the church. And then she expected to get it back. And, she was like, what happened here? Well, because it don't work that way.
Everyone would do it if that was the case.
It doesn't
Maybe you put that on the block.
not like a magic slot machine.
Can you imagine that? That's the alphabet. You go lines around the block. Everyone in the world, atheists will be doing
Oh
it.
man.
Agnostics, everyone.
Yeah, yeah. And,
You read
and,
that a
and
lot.
if it worked that way, you wouldn't have people wouldn't be atheists because they'd be like,
I
well,
know God's great.
God's great. But people don't get rich unless someone else gets poor, and that's what we don't understand is that we are out of balance here.
Yeah.
This world is just totally out of balance. And that's why we're but we're doing what he wants. So he's living and moving through us and uh talking to you through me and me through you. And
And but it's good because when you realize that we're one with everything, also, and everything becomes you spiritual.
yes,
Things become thoughts.
yes,
Things become spiritual. And
yes,
everything becomes one with, because he's saying that he's a vessel. His love is the vessel for him, as this body is vessel for our love, and our love is his love.
yep.
As long as our love is his love, and his love is our love, and then we manifest our love in the body, then all is one big giant circle of love.
It's just a circle of
Yeah,
love.
and then what else could it be? Is if God is only love, then
That's it.
it's just a matter of seeing how it comes together.
Yeah, yeah.
You
And
know?
if I don't have if I don't understand, if I don't have an idea of what I'm expecting, and I just expect whatever I get, then guess what? I'm going to be happy whatever it
Oh
is.
yeah,
So yeah.
that's the key. And I think
All right.
if we're talking about Paul, he said, "I have learned to be contented in whatever happens to me." He's still like
Yes.
that. Still like that. All
Yes.
right.
And yeah, lots of things happened to Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
He got
Yep.
killed at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. In the end, they sure did. But
So
just like Jesus, he didn't care. So
no,
all
he
right.
really. All right. So go ahead.
All right. All individual human personalities with their bodies are but the cells of my body of humanity. Just as the I am of you is now building your body so that through it you can perfectly express my idea of you or your real self, so am I gradually building humanity so that through it I can perfectly express my idea of myself. And here you go. This is exactly what's happening here. We're looking at the world and going, wow, why are things so bad and everything's messed up and everything? The seed doesn't feel happy when you bury it in the ground. And the
Right.
seed, doesn't know that, it's going to be putting out roots and growing up and becoming a tree. It just thinks,
Right.
I've been buried.
I mean, I
But,
won't.
if we
I,
recognize we're becoming a tree,
yeah. See, I always say, let your problems, let your surround overwhelm you. Let it bury you.
yeah,
Just let it happen. Just let it overwhelm you completely. Look at like that Voyager episode when they let the ship, the twisted ship overwhelm them. Let it bury you completely, because then you realize you come out the other side.
yes,
Because let your feelings, your thoughts, the pictures in your head, the pictures outside yourself, let them all just bury you completely, and you realize that they just dissolve. And all that's usually left is a bunch of insights.
Yeah,
You know, much more. What's left is usually much more clarity.
that's right.
And whether or not it's what you thought it would be is different. Who knows? It could be, but there is clarity as to what's what was and what should come next. And what is and what
And
is.
and it's not up to us. We don't know anything about it. All we know is, I don't know what anything is, and I don't know what anything is for.
No, exactly, exactly, and that's okay because it's not as if now that you know that, then God's gonna kill you, and you're gonna be a boring person with nothing. Yourself will be around for a long time. You,
Yes,
you're not going anywhere. As Ken says, you're not going anywhere until you want to. You do nothing you don't want to do.
I
So
love that.
as long as you want to be here, you'll be here. And he remembers the very end, right? Till you have all the power in the world. You have total control of the dream, as much fun as you want, and one day you won't want any more fun in this way, and then you'll go into the absolute oneness, whatever that means to you or whatever. So there's no worries about losing. He says dump your personality. It's not to say dump your entire uniqueness and your individuality completely. It's dumping your worshiping of individualism as a mode of separation, as physicality as the only reality, as death is the end and birth is the beginning.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
and yeah, and then there's nothing else out there, and at any moment we can be just kicked off, whether or not it's religion or not. We're in the universe, according to most of these religions and science that says that we're in the universe is a small little nothing in the universe, and at any moment we can be killed. We have about 80 years at most if we're lucky, and then we die and we think about all of our friends. This is not the universe that I'm living in, and I raised my kids to live in. And that's the only reason why I have problems with a society that basically everything is based on that idea that this is the natural universe is everywhere and everything.
That's it. That's it. And that's again, that's what I was talking with Susan about. Because if you give what you give to yourself, and that's what I told her when she was talking about giving all the money to the church. Wait, it did go to you. You did get it back. You just didn't see it because you didn't see that it came back in the
What
job.
what what church he was in?
Uh, it
What
was
was it, Protestant? Was it?
yeah, it was what do you call it? Um, Unity, the
Oh,
Unity
yeah.
Church. Yeah,
Oh, so this was a nice church. This was
yeah, yeah. But she said she went to the bank and took all the money that she had in the bank
this is
out,
very
and she
very
took it
good.
and gave it to the church. She put it in the basket when they were passing the basket around, and then she sat and waited for that to come back. But she didn't realize it came back to her
Oh,
right away. She was getting it back all the time. We're getting it back all the time.
oh, so she thought it was going to come back to her that day, like, right away.
Well, soon, because she'd
Oh
been reading
yeah,
these books about uh
tithing,
yeah,
and
yeah, and about self-help well, yeah, and that's a lot of churches have that idea
yeah,
that because, they think that's the only way they're going to get money. And
yeah,
so, they don't think people would just give them money because they were doing a good job and they appreciated them.
yeah. Or
You know,
they preach the gospel. Like, God forbid they just preach the gospel.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really funny because I don't ever ask anybody for money. I do what I do, out of the love of my heart. People give me money as you know well because I you
Right. Yeah.
you you know give me money. I never asked you for it, and I'm grateful for it every single time. But
Yeah.
someone said to me the other day, well, why don't you should ask? You should ask. Well, yeah, but everybody asks for money, and what I think happens, this is just my own personal thing, is that when you ask for it, say I said, oh, okay, if you want to be on Gather, every month you got to send me $100 or something. If you ask for it, you're limiting yourself to that amount, or you're limiting yourself. And people who, who could really use your help are not going to be getting it because they can't pay. And people who can pay, maybe they would pay you more than that if you were giving them something of
All
value.
right, yes, yeah,
So, you don't say,
yeah.
you just say, if you
And
want
it says, I was, you never asked me. That wasn't the reason that I started doing that anyhow. Most of the time I was here, I never did anything like that. I never was asked ever.
Yeah, and nobody ever said anything or asked
No.
because we don't. Why should we? If you're moved to do it, you're moved to do it. And if not, you're not. And if you didn't sometime, I would not say, "Oh, hey, Wayne, where's that money you're gonna send me?" I would never do that because I think, that's the Holy Spirit that is moving people to do things and not me. You know, but
Yeah, you used to sit in one of those little long 5-page bitches.
yeah, yeah. Make you feel bad about, oh, I'm
Yeah.
guilty if I don't, and
Yeah.
because that's what happens. People do get that feeling of, I have to, or I'm supposed to, or God will love me if I do. God loves you no matter what you do. So, and that's what he's saying here. You're just here to be love in this world.
So
You
we're here to serve each
are,
other, serve each other.
yeah,
And then the way you serve each other is by being a source of pleasure, a source of love.
and
And
that,
what better, but better way to say that the very body that you walk around in is a temple of the spirit that made the stars.
yes,
The very spirit that actually is omnipresent and infinite, and that is in total control of what your body does. I mean, your body has no choice but to do what the spirit does. So just lay back and do whatever you feel like doing. Don't put pressure on that body at all. Let the body do what it wants to do because it's under the control of the spirit. And we keep feeding the mind the course or things like this, so the mind is always in control.
right. Yes, making the right choice, making the choice.
Exactly, exactly. So in other words, so the mind doesn't forget, tell the body what to do, but it does it instinctively. Another thing that Ken said, he said, make the course your thoughts.
Yes.
Making I'm thinking, I look at the course and I say, a lot of thoughts here, man. A lot more than I carry in my head. I mean, and that I consciously know I carry. I have a few thoughts I carry with me most of the day, and I think about stuff. But these are a lot of practical thoughts in the course. And if
Yes.
they, and if they become intertwined with my thoughts as the course enables them, when they start to become my thoughts with my own words, so to speak,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
they
How
become
you think.
extinct.
It becomes how
Exactly.
you think.
Exactly. And then that's when suddenly I could do whatever I want, not trusting that I wouldn't do something so I wouldn't suddenly become a Hitler or a Stalin. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want so I can answer well, what about Hitler? He did whatever he wanted. Well, whatever. I don't have to go there.
Right. And that's none of my business what he did.
Exactly.
Other than, I would, if I saw it happening now, I would do everything I could to stop it.
Exactly.
That's just because, yeah, but and believe me, I see a lot of stuff happening now that I'm
Uh-huh.
like, hoy vey. But you know what, again, Jesus says to me, Lynn, you got to trust me. This
Yep.
stuff is, you don't have anything to say about this.
Nothing.
Just
All you can
as
do is
he's
vote.
saying
We,
here,
we have
just,
one vote.
yeah,
Hey, there's a good way of looking at the universe. It's always democratic. We have one little vote in the universe.
yeah,
That's all we have. We can say yes to
yes,
Christ. That's
yes,
it. Or no to Christ. That's our vote.
exactly.
We have
So,
one vote, and that's it. And then hopefully enough people say yes to Christ, where it tips the boat completely to the side of end of time.
yeah,
So everyone is on board finally, and then we can all just kind of party up completely. And I mean, it can get better and better and better and better and better until eventually all wars will cease. A
that's
giant
right.
party, a giant party on Earth until eventually we get bored with the party on Earth. And with other planets. I mean, there's so much we can do here.
Exactly.
Who was
Well,
it? Mary Baker Eddy said, "Well, one day we'll have to go from planet to planet. Then we go from we used to not we used to not be able to go from from continent to continent, and now we can do that pretty easily. And
yes.
one day we'll do the same thing with planets." She said.
Yes, yes, and we will too,
Yeah.
because we won't be burdened by physical form to do it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, and that's he was saying this. I think the same thing here in this book. He's saying, um, where did he say this that I was reading? That we're moving toward his purpose, the full and complete expression in humanity of my divine idea. So that's what we're doing, and like you're right, Mary Baker Eddy knew that. We know that we're moving toward the full and complete expression of God.
Yep.
So, who am I to doubt the navigator?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, okay, whatever you tell me where to go.
Especially if we're going to say, if we're talk the talk, we should walk the walk.
That's
And
right.
if we're going to sit there and say Jesus is inspired this, I'm going to carry the blue book with us where we go. Why do it if we're going to sit there and say, yeah, but I don't really believe it. I believe it when times are easy, but when times are tough, I give up on the idea that it's really a dream. I say, nah. Or I give up on the idea that I'm really innocent when something really bad happens and I feel guilty. Then I should feel guilty now. This is really bad. I mean, that happens a lot. You feel
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. That's not a dream now. This is really bad. Yeah. So it's we realize that it's always truth. The truth is true no matter what.
yeah. It's always the same, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, granted, you want to be careful how you talk to people about this, and I would grant that, but it's, I assure you that an illusion is an illusion all the time.
Yeah. You're funny. But it's true, absolutely true. I mean, there's no time that it's not. So
No, no,
not one moment is it real.
no. I mean, I remember someone's father died, and she upset with me when I said to her it was a dream. Very upset with me. That's why I didn't bury my father just now.
Yeah,
I said to her, I said, I didn't say you didn't bury your father. I was just getting into a little cosmology with you here about nature of existence, more in an attempt to make you feel better, not telling you that you didn't do what you just did. And then she wanted to get off. She said, "All right, let's drop it. Let's just drop it." And it was interesting how she took it, and that's why you have to be very careful when you speak to people about this.
that's
Because,
right.
everyone I ever talked to, another girl, I said the same thing. I told her, what would you do if to let go of your stories?" And she's like, "My stories are my pain. That defines me." And it's very hard for people to give up on their stories, especially the painful ones.
Yeah. Well, because it makes you who you are, and
Yeah,
people use the pain as a part of their
there,
personality.
exactly. And that's what I think he might mean when he says dump your personality.
Yeah,
Dump the idea that you were defined by your pain. You don't have to necessarily get rid of the pain per se. You can still have the instances there and have it like a movie is there. Where
right,
you watch it, but indirectly you feel it. I watch movies. I could still feel the pain of the person in the movie. I can feel the pain. I can weep. I can feel sad. I can feel happy. I can really feel it, but I know it's fake.
right. And you're still going to walk out of the theater later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Or you can pause it and go get a drink or something.
exactly. And if you do that with your memories, then you have access to everything you need from that memory. But it's not hurting your body. It's not hurting your mind. It's not hurting you. It's not eating at you.
No, because it's not. It's a thought in your mind.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's if it was something real that could really be to something, then that might be something to be worried about. But it's just a thought in your mind. And do you
And
see, like sometimes people have got an accident or something, hit their head, lost their memory, forgot about their life, forgot about their. I knew a guy that did this. He completely forgot about everything that happened. He was married, he had kids. He's like, I don't know who this woman is. I don't know who these kids are. He went back to Brazil with his family, that he grew up with, and left
yeah,
her. And
and
she's
well,
like,
he's smart guy.
yeah. But here she was with like, got nothing. But the fact is that that was in his mind, they were no longer a part of him,
That's
or they
crazy.
never were. He knew nothing of them. And
Yeah.
in her mind, that was all she knew. And so she was, very hurt,
Of course. Of course.
but, what you gonna do?
Yeah, it's
She had to
crazy.
go on and live
Well,
her
you
life.
said the Dark City.
Yeah,
Exactly what happened. He said to her, I met you 2 days ago. She was like, "What are you talking about? I cheated on you." I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I don't think he did anything wrong.
yeah,
And she was like, "Are you kidding me? I mean, I'm your wife, and this is the nuttiest thing."
yeah,
And so it just comes down to the fact that we're not really here, and the nature of the existence is different than we think,
yeah.
and we don't have to actually. And the best way to look at it is, we created a situation for ourselves where we really are. Ask the Lord what to do, and He says, "Pretend it's up to you." And that's what I
Yeah,
learned. So we can go out there and we pretend we're making choices, pretend we're making all the choices in the world, and we can make ourselves something out of our lives. And other kind but you know what? Whenever we haven't made any choices for ourselves, we're not making anything out of our lives. Everything comes from God. Everything comes from our higher self. Everything.
everything. That's exactly what this book
Yeah,
is saying.
exactly.
Yeah,
And we're not doing anything at all. So don't have to. So now you can be even more fearless and get what you want. Because in the end, when you go to bed at night, you can say, "Thanks God for for I guess for being there for me
yeah, yeah,
all the time, every minute." You don't have to do anything really. You just go to bed. I mean, you don't have to pray really. You can pray if you want. But what are you praying to? You're praying to you.
yeah. And maybe that'll help you to center your mind and figure
Yeah,
out
to
something.
meditate.
But it's God knows everything, so you can't ask him a question or tell him something he doesn't know about already.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and so why even,
He knows your desires. He knows your wants. So if
that's
it's
what
so if,
I figured out one day when and they asked me to say grace at the table, and I was like, hey God, do you know we're here, thank you, and
yeah,
but I know you're here, so why am I talking to you like you're somewhere else?
yeah. Well, if I do say a prayer, I pick up the glass and I say, "Hello, God, thanks for the food. Keep us in a very good mood. Amen, baby." So
That's it.
and that's
Amen,
basically
baby.
exactly that's what we do. That's what we do, and that's the most we it's
Oh
the most we do
man.
now. And
I love it. I love
quick,
it.
quick and efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, our time is about up.
I know.
It's been a great time.
It sure has.
I've been just so enjoying hanging out with you, and
Yeah, you too. I'm sorry we
I
missed it last week on Thursday.
oh
My family's in from Brazil, and my mother-in-law has a third operation on her ear. She's deaf, so they put stuff into her ear. These advanced like hearing devices, and they have to put it into her ear. So they have to cut her ear off, kind of, and put it in. And she's this finally this is the finally the last operation, and it worked
whoa.
finally. So if so I had to be there, and it was just a pain. And when it was a pain, it's finally worked, and she says she's done, and she's happy, and she can hear much better. But she's 83 years old, so she's
My goodness, 82
she's
years old and going through something like that.
yeah, well, she's a tough cookie. She's a tough cookie.
Yeah. Well, good.
So, yeah, yeah. So she's tough, and she hears better now, and it's a good thing. And she lives right near me, so she we see her a lot. But anyhow, so that was why I was sleeping most of the day because we went to the hospital on Tuesday night. So
Well, that was all
uh,
cool. It was all fine. And
uh,
just we be as as you need to be because I can always play recordings. I got a zillion of them.
oh, okay, good, good, good. All right, everyone. So, mirrors everywhere. Absolute pleasure, Lynn, as usual. And so take care, everyone, in the House Talk room on the radio, and then when there's listening to Zoom on the live stream. And I'll be back tomorrow with BSing with Audrey for Anxiety to Love. And then Thursday, by the way, we're doing a Valentine's Day show.
Oh, good. Oh, cool.
Yeah, Audrey and I were. It's going to be a throwback or perhaps a toss back. Toss back means it's not that very far. It's a little touchback. But I'm not sure if it's a touchback or a throwback. I think it's a touchback. I think we did it already. But it was the beginning when I first got back, and not many people were here. So I don't know. We might do it again.
Sounds
Uh,
good.
but
Sounds
then,
really
yeah,
good.
Thursday. That's what we're doing Thursday. So because that's the day before Valentine's Day. It's Thursday, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's on Friday. So that's
Yeah.
perfect.
Today is the 10th, so the 14th is, yeah, Friday.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. All
So
right, so
very cool.
that's what we're doing on Thursday. So it's gonna be a fun week. So come by if you feel like maybe help out a little bit your week. And until then, Lynn, thank you again, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Wayne. I love you, brother.
Love you too.
You have a great evening. We'll
Bye
talk to you
bye.
later. Bye
Yep.
bye.
Bye.